Hi, I'm Jennifer Cody, and today I want to show you how to make French onion soup. It's a classic with simple ingredients and it's delicious. Let's get to it. Okay, so we have 3 pounds or so of onions for starters, and we are going to cut it all up, slice it like this, and cook it in a pan. And it's going to caramelize the sugars if we take a long time heating it up. Okay, I am going to take the onions over to the pan and we're going to start cooking them up. Okay, so we are putting these onions into a very hot pan and we're going to put a lid on it, let them steep and simmer a little. There we go. And we're going to add a little olive oil and a splash of water. Put a lid on this, just a little bit. We're going to let these cook. Stirring the onions, and every 5 or 10 minutes or so, we'll check on them again. You can leave the lid on for a while, but eventually the juices start drying up a little. You turn the heat down at that point. We want these to caramelize, but we don't want them to burn. So what I did, I turned this pan down to let some of the moisture collect again. And then once it's juicy again, you can turn it back higher. You basically kind of are reducing it. You're reducing the juices, caramelizing the sugars that are in there, and just not letting it get completely dry, or then it will burn. But this is it. It cooks down to this small amount of very delicious caramelized onions. We started with 3 pounds, 5 big onions, and this is what we end up with. So we are going to add a few ingredients to this bowl to make a roux. It's a sort of roux. That was a tablespoon of salt and a 1/4 cup of flour and a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And this is going to make a nice smooth roux or thickener for the broth. It's not going to be real thick, but it'll thicken the broth up a little bit. Now, this is a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. If you wanted to be more traditional, you can use a 1/4 cup of vermouth or a 1/4 cup of red wine, but I have found that the red wine vinegar, if you use half as much of that, it totally works. It adds a little bit of a tang to the broth, and it tastes so good with the sweet onions. Now we'll mix this into some broth that's heating up on the stove. So I have some broth on the stove. This has, beef and chicken stock, whatever you might have. It's almost to a boil. I'm going to add a little bit of it to this mixture, just so it gets real smooth. You don't want lumps, so this helps it to stir in. Then I'm going to pour this right back in, and basically this mixture needs to cook about 2 minutes, just so that you cook off the flour flavor. You want this to be cooked. I'll maybe add this. Then once we've got this up to a boil, 2 minutes of cooking, and our broth is done. So now we are just going to put the onions in, and the French onion soup is done. Okay, so we have broiled this French onion soup with the croutons, a little bit of Swiss, and Parmesan cheese. A toaster oven or a broiler works great. 4 minutes or so till it's golden brown, and then it is ready to serve. I'm going to check it out. It's good.